Coming up today on Quays, we look into the developments of Gary Neville's new university.
We take a trip to Earlham to see the next generation of train stations.
And finally, we have some special guests from across the pond. We have lots coming up today on our second Quays News show of the year.
First today, there are new plans in place to build a university on the old Kellogg site in Stratford. Ryan Giggs, Gary and Phil Neville, Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes, otherwise known as the Class of '92, plan to open the university with a range of courses, including sport, media and business. However, some local residents in Stratford are unhappy with this plan of action. Dan Doyle has more.
This Kellogg site behind me is planned to become the proposed campus for University Academy 92. Some people are for and against this idea. Myself and Ben Ibsen went down to Stratford to find out more.
The University Academy of 92 is a unique collaboration involving the Class of 92, Trafford Council, Lancaster University, Microsoft, Trafford College and Bruntwood.
It is expected that this project will create many jobs and will boost the local economy by around 26 million per year.
The plans to build the student village at Lacey Street car park created a mixed opinion between the local residents. I managed to speak to a member of the public to ask for his opinion.
Obviously, when they go out at night and get drunk, they do make a bit of noise, and that's probably one of the reasons why, again, the people who live around here are like, we don't want students, but all in all, it's something that can be managed.
We were also contacted by a local resident via Twitter who wished to remain unknown. He stated that there was a Stratford improvement plan in 2009 and in 2013, but nothing happened on both occasions. He then went on to say, "So for me, if they guaranteed that residents would benefit from the development and would have better access to the facilities than we do now, I would have probably been in favour. But given the council's underhand behaviour in the past and with this proposal, they have lost my support and a lot of others."
General opinion from the local residents is that they want this area to be up and coming. However, they're not really happy about the council and the way they have gone with the negotiations, and they feel misled and cheated. That is all from Ben Ibsen and Dan Doyle.
In other news, the University of Manchester's union have announced strikes later this month. The other jobs.
A vote from members of the public of the university staff showed 87% showed striking due to the mounting fears of a larger scale clear out of senior staff. The action is said to take place on the 23rd and 24th of September, potentially affecting 1,800 members of the university.
Now, train stations across Greater Manchester are set to be transformed into community hubs by the end of 2020.
In total, 96 stations are being transformed. We sent Owen to Earlham to find out more.
And with leaky roofs and unmarked platform edges which are too short to accommodate certain trains, it seems about time that some action is taken. Rejuvenation projects like the ones planned by local councils have seemed to be successful in the past, such as the train station at Earlham, which used to be in disrepair before being renovated in 2015 by the Hamilton Davies Trust. This being their biggest project to date has certainly been a success, with renovation being done to the main station building to include a cafe, bar and local history museum, turning the building into more of a social hub than local train station. The project also added a free car park with 60 car and motorcycle spaces, a Traffic for Greater Manchester designed cycle hub storage facility and even platform 9 3/4, a kids play area. We spoke to local man and regular user of Earlham train station, Adrian, to find out how much the renovation has affected the community.
I'm really impressed with what they've done, with what the Hamilton Davies Trust have done here. It is spectacular, really, isn't it? I mean, loads of people in having lunch in Earlham on whatever day it is, Tuesday, is it? Tuesday, unbelievable.
Would you say the renovation here has improved the station?
Oh yeah, I think it had gone into considerable decline. I mean, it wasn't derelict or anything, but it had all the characteristics of, I suppose, the latter years of British Railways in Britain.
One person who certainly sees the positives of renovating Greater Manchester train stations is Joe Greenwood, manager of the Train Stations Cafe.
It could create all sorts of opportunities for small businesses. It doesn't necessarily need to be a full-on cafe, coffee shop, bistro, like as we are. There could be little spaces set aside for small businesses where they pay a minimal rent, as opposed to as a new business. I would imagine it's quite difficult to get the funds together, to pay your taxes and your rent, etc., and all the overheads that comes with renting a site on your own. Whereas there could be real community hubs for all sorts of different groups.
With plans for the councils to take over every train station in Greater Manchester by the year 2167, it seems to be the case for some stations to be sooner rather than later. I'm Owen Widdowson for Quays News.
A series of plaques have been placed in Media City this week featuring the names of high-profile celebrities that have won Golden Blue Peter badges.
The Golden Badge is Blue Peter's highest accolade and is only awarded to a select few each year, usually for acts of bravery or courage.
However, on rare occasions, high-profile personalities that are seen as an inspiration to the nation's children are also honoured with the badges. In total, there are 44 plaques, each bearing the names of Gold Badge winners.
These include the Queen, Sir David Attenborough, J.K. Rowling, Steven Spielberg, who said he is going to wear his badge with pride after being awarded with it last year. The permanent instalment of anticipation of Blue Peter's 60th anniversary next year.
Well, that's the news. Let's throw it over to the sport and Julia. And England's rugby league team has been announced out here.
Thanks, Nick. Sean O'Loughlin captains the squad. Wigan teammates John Bateman and George Williams join him. Warrington's Ben Curry and Alex Walmsley of St Helens are in line for a first appearance. The big shock was that the omission of Sam Tompkins, recently back from an injury, while Zach Cardacker misses out having tested positive for cocaine. England's first match is against Australia, a fortnight on Friday. This Sunday, it's the Manchester Half Marathon. More than 12,000 people took part last year. This year, organisers have teamed up with a hate crime campaign in the wake of the Manchester bomb. Families of the victims have given their support. The finish line is at Old Trafford Cricket Ground, the site of June's One Love concert. In football, Salford City won 2-0 against Earlham last night. Mark Shelton's free kick was the highlight of the game. The Class of 92's team are currently second in the National League North table, hoping for promotion for the National League. With their recent success, plans to expand their stadium have been approved. Lars Magnus went down to find out more.
Since the Class of 92 took over the helm at Salford City Football Club back in 2014, the club has experienced a major development, with the fourth new stand expected to be completed by November. Quays News went to Moore Lane to hear what the people around the club think about the ongoing development at Salford. Okay, so what do you think about the new stand?
It's great, it really is a big improvement. Local people really are getting round the team itself, and it's great for the community of Salford itself. We've never had a football team named Salford before, so this new environment we've got is absolutely great. Big improvement.
We also talked to those who volunteers for the football club.
It's been good for the community, although obviously a lot of the locals are objecting. But then again, anything new tends to be a bit different. When we used to about 150 people coming, and now we're getting 1,500. And of course, when the ground is finished, it'll hold 5,100. But don't expect to get 5,100.
We also wanted to hear what the manager and the players think about the ongoing development.
It's a massive thing in the area, and I think it's getting a lot more people in the community together and stuff like that. And as for the football club, it shows how much they're trying to grow as a club, and I think they're on to bigger and better things. So hopefully we can do well on the pitch and go up the leagues, and with the development of the stadium as well, like it'll be compatible for the higher league and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good thing.
I think the expectation, and obviously the ground fulfills what it is. You know, you come in, you look at the ground, it's like a professional football ground. And when it's complete, you know, you compare it to League 1 side and League 2 side, and we're not far off from that standard at the minute.
It seems like the modernisation here at Moore Lane has created a positive vibe around Salford, and obviously with the new stand there's definitely more to come for Salford City Football Club. From me, Lars Magnus Royce here at Moore Lane for Quays News. It's back to the studio.
And that was the sport. Now, I've been joined by some journalism students from America in the studio with us today. So we have Tess Mears and Juliana Allen, who are final year communications students from the University of Southern California. So welcome, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here at Quays News. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Well, hi, thanks for having us. I'm Tess, like you said. I study communication at USC in California, and we are here studying abroad on a nice tour of your university.
Yeah, well, it's fantastic to see you here. How are you settling into the city? All good? How do you find Manchester?
It's great, yeah. It's our second day in Manchester, so...
Oh, okay. What do you think of the
great.
weather? The weather not great?
It's a little cold for us.
Yeah, it's quite miserable, isn't it? So, I know you've only been here 2 days so far, but tell us about the journey and the highlights so far, if there are any.
Yeah, well, it's definitely cool seeing all of these tech media companies together in Media City. I can't think of anything exactly comparable to it in LA. A lot of the companies like to stay a little bit farther apart.
Yeah.
So definitely cool for university. You guys are so close to where a lot of you will go off and work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love Media City, don't we? Have you had a look around so far then?
Yeah, we've seen BBC. Obviously, this is our first time visiting your university, which is really cool. Yeah, we're really happy to be here visiting Media City.
And now, as journalism students, what do you make of the fake news row that's been sparked by Donald Trump's presidency? Tell us a bit about it.
We are not exactly pro-Trump. I don't know how political this station is, but we're not good representations of that culture, I don't think.
I think, yeah, in America, a lot of people don't exactly buy what his tweets are selling.
Okay. And tell us a bit more about what you're going to be up to here in the UK, just quickly.
Sure. So we return back to London tomorrow, and we have some courses. A lot of us have been traveling around Europe. It's so nice from London, so that's been great.
And then we head back in December.
Brilliant. Fantastic. So you're going to have a great time then. Well, I wish you all the very best with that. We'll be speaking to some other people next week, I'm sure. This week is Wellbeing Awareness Week. Nicola attended a yoga class at the Salford University campus to get a feel for the activity and how it helps with mental health.
Salford University Wellbeing Week is raising awareness of mental health problems among students. Students can take part in yoga and Pilates sessions, as well as talking to professional counsellors. Former Salford University student who wrote about her battle against anxiety is sharing her own experience.
I was born with anxiety, definitely, but then I started experiencing things like panic attacks, heart palpitations, and it got to a point where it was interfering with my day-to-day life, and I had a nervous breakdown, and that's when I really had to kind of do something about it, because I've been ignoring it for so long, as a lot of people do. And then from that point, my recovery began. I think people really underestimate how hard it is to be a student. You know, you get the kind of labels of like layabout, they just drink, they don't go to lectures, but actually you go through some of the biggest bloody changes of your life, like moving away, you've got to make friends really quickly, social pressures, financial pressures.
1 in 4 adults and 1 in 10 children are likely to have mental health problems in any given year. This can have a significant impact on the lives of tens of millions of people in the UK, and it can affect their everyday life. Claire has written in national newspapers and appeared on TV shows, and is now providing mental health tips to current students.
First one is really simple, but tell someone. It sounds, again, really, really basic, but don't keep it all bottled up here, because it's the worst thing you can do. Exercise is really good, and things like limiting your caffeine intake. Yoga's really good because obviously the mindful aspect of the breathing, and I really believe in that because breathing exercises help me when I'm having a panic attack.
It's rewarding if people start coming regularly to your classes. You really see a massive change in them, and their strength and their flexibility and their confidence really, really improves and grows.
Yoga sessions will certainly help your body relax. Mental health is a national problem among students. Don't suffer in silence. Pop into one of the sessions this week and seek advice. Nicola Bartoshova, Quays News.
Very interesting indeed. Now, today is looking very cloudy, and we now go to Damien for the weather.
Today is expected to be filled with strong winds of up to 18 miles per hour with the possibility of heavy rain later on in the afternoon. But then tomorrow it should be a fairly sunny and warm day with temperatures reaching to 15 degrees Celsius. But then on Friday, those strong winds and showers should return with winds reaching up to 22 miles per hour. And then into the weekend, it will be warmer and sunnier with temperatures reaching to 21 degrees Celsius. So it's time to whip out those summer clothes again.
From us at Quays News, but don't forget to tune in to the lowdown, which will be straight on after this.
But you can follow us and find out more about all of our other programmes online at keysnews.net, on Facebook and on Twitter at Keys News. But for now, thank you so much for watching.
See you next week. Goodbye.
Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of The Lowdown. I'm your host Joe Wilmot and I'll be covering events that are happening around the campus and I'll be giving you more ways to get involved. So first things first, welcome to all freshers and welcome back all returning students. We hope you're enjoying your first few weeks of university life and are getting stuck into your course. But as we all know, there's always a little something that needs to be done first. Welcome Week. I know I'm definitely sad that Welcome Week came to an end. So let's take a look at the Welcome Week finale and its best bits. Take a look at this. I think that video really does it justice, and it was a fantastic night having been there as well, with acts such as Blonde, Nathan Dorr and Emo and many more. Although Welcome Week is over, there is one night that won't be going anywhere anytime soon. The student-run station Shock Radio launched the new Reboot event, and in the studio with me now is Adam, who is the brains behind Reboot and the events coordinator as well. Now Adam, just for the viewers who haven't heard anything about Reboot yet, which is quite surprising because everyone will have heard about it already, but just briefly explain what it is for us.
So Reboot is a Saturday night club night at the Students' Union put on by Shock Radio. But it's not just for Shock Radio members, it's for everybody at the university. It's basically a night where you can come down, kind of let your hair down, have a good time, and not have to go into town and pay a taxi fare or pay like £10 entry on the door.
Brilliant. And why did you choose to do Reboot?
We chose to do Reboot mainly because, in my opinion, and the other people at Shock, there wasn't really a club night at the Students' Union for people to go to. And we thought that was kind of a market that we could target. So we kind of came together and we were like, what can we do to have a night where students can go along and kind of have a good time? So we came up with this club idea. We went to the Students' Union staff about it, kind of pitched it. They were really keen to do it. They let us basically jump on board and do it. Which was really good.
Now, one of the things that makes Reboot so good is the fact that it's different each week. How do you make it different each week, and how do you keep those people coming back?
So what we do to keep it different is we basically have each week as a theme. So in our first one we had a UV party, which was really, really successful. After that it was a jungle theme. This Saturday we've got a 90s party. But what we also do is the first Saturday of every month we book a club DJ. So the Saturday just gone, we booked a DJ called Lawrence James, who was unbelievable, and the reaction from the crowd was amazing. And we've got more lined up every other Saturday that we do. So it should be really good, and we'll hopefully keep people coming in.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming in to chat with me this morning. Really appreciate it. Well, let's just take a quick look at Reboot. Take a look at this. Okay. Now, next up, although Welcome Week isn't all about the social side of university, it's about finding your feet at what is your new home, and our Freshers' Fair did just that. The fair was, of course, going to be packed with a truly diverse array of groups on offer, from fencing to pole dancing, from scuba diving to skydiving. There certainly was a lot to offer. This is how one society, SUDS, attracted new members. Now, many of us have been back at university for around a month now, about the time where perhaps those homesick blues would start to kick in. We've all had the Welcome Week fun, including me, and I'm sure we all need some home comforts. There will be some of you out there who get homesick from time to time. It's just a natural thing. So I brought in who I think is the best person to solve your homesick blues. Now, I'm joined in the studio by Zamzam, who is the president of the Students' Union here at Salford. Now, Zamzam, what tips would you give for keeping the homesick blues away for our students?
Thank you for having me on the show. The advice I'd give to students is to get involved. The reason usually homesick is because you miss sort of the things your mother's cooking, the friends back home. But the best thing you can do is just immerse yourself in student life. Get to know your flatmates, get to know your course mates, get involved in societies and clubs, and just take full advantage of what Salford has to offer.
And just for the viewers, just briefly explain for us what it is that you do, like what your role is and how the Students' Union helps the students here.
Essentially what I do is anything and everything that affects students. So as a Students' Union, we exist just to make sure that students love their life at Salford and they have the best student experience that they can have. And that involves a lot of things, as you can imagine. It means sitting in a lot of committees and boards, but it also means organising the fun stuff that students value. On top of that, we do advice centre support, which means that if students have any issues on their courses or need any counselling support, mental health issues, we're here to help them and support them.
Brilliant. And I've heard about the Big Ideas page. Now, if I were to put an idea forward, what's the process that I'd go through for that?
So it's easy. You just go onto the Student Union website, you write up what your big idea is, get people to vote on it, and then as SPATCL officers we make sure we do it. So for example, somebody put in they wanted free car parking from after 6 p.m. all around campus, and it happened. So it's sort of your idea, we make it happen.
Brilliant. And how can people get in touch with you?
Easiest way to get in touch with me is probably via email. All my sort of social media networks is on the Student Union website, so there'll be my face with all the SPATCL officers, and you just click on there, and all my details are on there and what I'm doing this year.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for coming to chat with us this morning. Really appreciate it. Now, finally, what's coming up over the next couple of weeks here at the University of Salford? Well, The Mix, which is Salford's big band special, is making a comeback on the 18th of October at the SU. If you're interested, you can see more about their last event on their Facebook page. On Friday the 13th, you can wrap up warm and head down to the Peel Park Fire Garden, or if you need a bit of a laugh, to see you through the current lecture depressions, go and watch the Salford Suspiciously Cheap Comedy Evening at the New Adelphi Theatre on October 23rd. And look at all the different societies and events on offer here at Salford. You can get involved at salfordstudents.com. Hopefully we'll see you at some of these events, and if you have something you think could feature in the show, email us at thelowdownuos@gmail.com. I'm your host, Joe Wilmot, and you've been watching The Lowdown. See you next time. Have a great week. Bye-bye for now.